Changes in Earth's crust. Weathering. God says, "For I am the Lord, I change not." Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. Because God never changes, he can be fully trusted. This certainly cannot be said about Earth. Have you ever looked at pictures of the Grand Canyon? The Grand Canyon is located in the southwestern United States. Perhaps you have wondered how the Grand Canyon was made. The surface of Earth is always changing. Sometimes things happen slowly, and sometimes they happen suddenly. For example, a flood can wear away a large amount of soil and rock quickly. Creation scientists believe the Grand Canyon was formed when waters from the flood of Noah's day flowed off the land to the ocean, carrying large amounts of soil and clay out of the area. Changes in Earth's crust are caused by many different natural occurrences. At times, many natural occurrences act together upon a surface area. One of the most consistent natural occurrences is weathering. Day after day, the weather acts upon rocks to wear them away. There are two types of weathering: physical and chemical. Physical weathering occurs when rocks are broken apart or split into smaller pieces. What would be able to break apart large granite boulders in the mountains? Freezing water can break a rock apart. Just a little bit of water gets into a small crack in a rock. When the water freezes, it expands in the crack of the rock. Each time water freezes, the crack becomes a little bigger. This repeated expansion forces the rock to split and break apart. Changes in temperature can also cause weathering of rocks. In summer, the air may be extremely hot during the day. Then at night, the temperature of the air becomes much cooler. When rocks experience such sudden changes in temperature, surface pieces of rock will split off from larger rocks. Plants can cause physical weathering of rocks too. Plant roots are able to grow into the cracks in rocks. As the roots grow deeper and larger, rocks are forced to split into smaller pieces. You have probably seen rainwater rushing down the sides of streets and roads. The movement of the water, together with acid in the water, causes chemical weathering. Rain softens some rocks, causing them to break apart. Rocks are slowly worn away as water moves over them in rivers, waterfalls, and oceans. Erosion. After rocks have been weathered and broken into smaller pieces, erosion causes these smaller rocks to be moved from higher places to lower places. Erosion usually occurs because of water. Water in rivers and floods washes away large amounts of loose rock and soil. The Grand Canyon is a result of erosion by the flood of Noah's day. You have probably seen rainwater wash soil away from fields and yards. Rivers and streams cut their way through the land, carrying soil to lower places and redepositing it. Soil deposits make rich new farmland. Glaciers also cause erosion to occur on mountains and among large rocks. A glacier is something like a frozen river. As glaciers move, they grind and break rock that becomes in contact with the bottom and sides of the moving ice. A glacier pushes boulders, soil, and ground up rock ahead of it. When the glacier reaches a warmer place, or when the summer comes, some of the glacier will melt, and boulders and soil will be left behind as deposits where the glacier pushed them. Page 37. Another force that causes erosion of Earth's crust is wind. Small pieces of sand are picked up by the wind. This sand is then blown against large rocks and mountains, acting as a grinding force. The sand blown in the wind grinds away the sides of rocks and mountains. When there is little or no rain in a place, wind can blow away large amounts of soil. During a windstorm, wind can cause sand to scratch the windows of buildings and cars. It can also remove paint from vehicles and buildings. If a windstorm is strong enough to cause sand to damage large, hard objects, imagine what a strong wind can do to soft layers of soil. Sometimes erosion occurs quickly, when large amounts of land or rock move at one time. This happens on hillsides, when a large piece of the hillside slides down to the bottom of a hill. Sometimes rain will soften the soil on the sides of hills, causing mudslides. Landslides and mudslides have been known to slide into rivers. When a landslide or a mudslide moves across a river and blocks the river's path, it can result in the formation of a new lake. Landslides and mudslides also fill and widen low valleys, making the slopes more gentle. Sometimes these slides occur very quickly. At other times, land may move more slowly along slopes, almost unnoticed. Earthquakes. Earthquakes can cause great changes in Earth's crust in a very short period of time. Earthquakes occur where two large pieces of land are moving past each other. The two pieces of land move because pressure has developed deep underground. When the pressure is great enough, the pieces of land move past each other, causing the ground for miles around to quake. During earthquakes, rocks fall off mountains and hills and cause landslides. Sometimes the ground rises or falls, changing the face of the land. Earthquakes have caused rivers to change course and have formed new lakes. Earthquakes can cause giant ocean waves called tsunamis that wash away large amounts of shoreline. Did you know that the land on which we live is always moving? It is moving in every direction. Granite rock is being pushed up to form new hills and mountains. Of course, the land usually moves so slowly we cannot see or feel it, but a movement of only about 1 inch, 2.54 centimeters per year will cause earthquakes and volcanoes to occur along the edge of the continents. Sometimes the edge of one piece of land is pushed on top of another piece of land by the force of the land movements. The results of land movements change the face of Earth's crust. You have learned that the surface of Earth is constantly being changed by natural occurrences such as volcanoes, floods, strong winds, landslides, mudslides, and earthquakes. However, the Bible tells us that we should not live in constant fear of these natural forces. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will we not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Psalm chapter 46, verses 1 to 3 and verse 11.